Creator, for the benefit of all our people, for peace and justice in our land, and for the constant recognition of the dignity and aspirations of those whom we serve. Amen.
Has a minister statement, and Mercy, Madam Speaker, and I deal with municipal community affairs. Honey, that he will listen go at the and I did flat. I got zainly fat to cover it. Deal with that on the and I did the territorial federal government saying. And I did honey on thousand gun and it did in the on there. And I did the federal government in Gisha lot at the Zane the car was in the same Montas on tradition at St. Hosi, she had like it does she got a and I did the Zane the car war a using that emergency plan is in. And I did the climate change would deal with that. This is what she had dancing. I got on there. What I did anything that's in home war on there. And the 2021 flood, I got that he we English on the hot heart, sin last in hot heart, sin last in that's on how that's on how no lemons on some boats and came war on there. And I did that. And I did And I did go out on Motas and Kohani 2021, and I did what I did the Motas and Kohani Hadin Konagi wasn't out there. And I did what I do public safety thing, and I did what I 2022 did what I 2021 I get. It doesn't bad things and give war then daddy September 15, 22, Hay River Hatlot Day $174 million into give war there. And I did what the 484 and again loud a unit that gets a hodia. And I did the Jawanda Honda get has and that's on Motassin Nick again like it's a hodia, listen to her get a line down there. And the Madam Speaker did her niece and that he will listen what I had this at home. And I did go out the community, municipal community affairs, her niece and communities I get you on there. And I did what I done the business in the gets us a year on there. And I did what I done. And I did 2021 after action saying I get down there. And I did 2021 a year that flooded this and that he wind lesson. And I did 2023 how was a hot year on there. And I did what the law nism what does it with delay. Hanism that how not the was in the hoods on there. And I did what the hay river said here like it that on. Federal government think it doesn't a community doesn't get how they are you and I did hot days and continue get days in a year and I did her niece I see her need we get a lot of done we get her own there. It's on deck I was but saying on there and I did what that's on Madam Speaker did her need. Hotana Tłı chło Yatıì Hotsagot Hode and I did go out that hasn't that Tłı chło Yatıì wisn't that what's a good saying Hay River Hatlot did I don't get days or a year Hatlot did when I get days and I did deal with the federal government in Gisha like down there. There isn't that some bad that once I would dear. And I did what I thought with that climate change, I did need a whole that he we had that kind of good cake or say a good game. There isn't that tell quantity decent, her niece and I using there. And I did that, and I did what I don't know how some good again, and the Hanishin got that Gianni Yagnation Sagedi, and the Hotaton, the Tons da Sons again, Dionde, and the Hotaton Dinaki, Dinaki Hosan, that don't get Dioda in this Hadi Dionde 2021-2022, Hanishin Dati with the Flada got Zain, listen why does it lally. The Hagod Des and the Hagod Zan, the Hanu Codes on, and the Hanishin that zone that at least I said that what I'm not said so there. And I do what I don't know else I do in this and I said this and you must see, Madam Speaker. Must see Minister Statement, Minister of Finance. Some bad don't ask the minister really. Madam Speaker, do what I don't the public server what I did I say quick do what I don't do what I see what I want to do that lot at the and I did and you don't hold the government of North Territory and I did I like it do what I don't and I did what I need I like it down the how could you hook your home was what I don't and I did what I get done a whole 2016 survey. I'll go get down there. And I did what I was on deck. I like it this and and I did what I didn't get. As you that is like it down the same on the survey again. And I did 2021. Yeah, I knew what I survey again. Like that 48% of the Madam Speaker, that did and I do what I do 2016, so I see it like the Zazi London the Lehunde, and I did and I don't Nizia like it that and I do what I don't 5.8%. I do what I don't and I don't GWT isn't that and I did and I did GWT 11.4%. And I did that. Madam Speaker, do what I told it, and I Motas in his Yazidla, Haniko did Motasin, and his Yazid 2016 survey, Hanis, that's on Yaziads on the 3.4%. And I did what I told Motasin Tadagoni, Goto Honda, Motasin Assin that I don't get the lesson at Zain Lehote. And I did and I did go out what I thought and I did what I thought guide the honey the Mota survey result honey how in see that do I like it the honey give had out deal there. And I did what I thought the Madam Speaker and I did honey the working group honey the and I did what I thought and I did go out what I did and I don't have news to have some like it this must get Sienna phone there must get Sienna what the survey go get last and I did what I need like it that safety the help is what he said honey and a lot of that go she got it go his own is no one there. And I do say as a question, out in the Madam Speaker, do what that's on the Asi Tadia land is in that is the time done the whole and is in Clashia like doubts on how well they must see. Minister Statement. Madam Speaker, Housing Northwest Territories, they do what that's on Sinlano Hod, Adza, there. And I do what that's on housing NWT the business isn't the Kennedy I think yeah the Kohani Yagitsi and I do what on November 22nd, do National Housing Day with Lian. And I do what on do what I wish you got, then what's it, and I did the Madam Speaker, did the in nation Hayaï, what on house, the deal that's on go ye, and I do what on is not a glass in is not it lay. And I do what on the Donadaka working ligishi, and I did him now wasn't who on there. Wat dat gesje luid daar en dat zo'n motas en huizen get la holla en dat die wat dat een gesje luid daar dat was een gesje luid daar hani gaat hani wat die hoorde Madam Speaker die had dat zo'n die had zo'n goeie en dat zo'n had die hoorde die had dat zo'n die had dat zo'n mota federal dek out de federal government die had niet zo'n bani zien negin la hoorde. And I did what that's Mota di Hontrasin, di what that community, the housing, the Nigiho owns it on, and I did, and that's on the organization, since that's on that I get di on there. And I did organizations, they did have Nisin Ratzin, Dasin on there. And I did, and I did, and I did that Motta, that on had so clear and listen that on a good on. And I did the federal saying government saying somebody again la on there. And I did that on Saturday day now walking on there. And I did a renewal, I did go out and down the whole and the civil that. And I in nations that contain the Sinla no Hotel Housing Corporation and I know now and the WT Housing on there. And I did what I don't think that one that don't continue was in get at a deal on there. They had a glad in windows in the scene. A lot of dozens not on the don't get there, say go out. On the National Housing Day, the hotel wasn't the which celebrate that there's in hotel lagin dagira in there, you go to Digo, hotel local housing or lagi this and what here. And I did hotel go to the whole lot. And the board members, so you can contractors, see Haginti hotel and daddy. And I did hotel don't so line doesn't hotel last and lagin down there. And I did what I don't do. I like it. This in flat. I got that in don't I get the. And I did. I need to give continue. When there's in don't I get the. I need to what nothing housing NWT. I need to that's on hotel. I get the. Wasn't that contrast and who's you and I did send la no who I got down there. And I did what I don't. And this I get down there. Northwest Territories that don't do that don't get here. Anniversary and I don't and I did nothing November 22nd 50th anniversary at there on the November 22nd open a house I get listening on there and I did and I don't and I did and I did what I don't see now the NWT since I don't education grants in I get down the what at a since that honey since I get here the housing okay housing NWT honey since that don't do what I don't need to give cheese in that's is again in honey and I did what I scholarship I get in what I don't and I did how you honey sin one this in God need to give cheese in there. And I did what I should listen that's not that near apply again. And I did what I thought, and I did what I thought. Madam Speaker, the housing NWT, that units and I did what I thought housing. It a day the second honey what I engineer to this has on this and what I say had who there. And I did what I dug who I the single what I need who are. and the housing NWT the hotan and the hotan federal government in Gisha locked down the Tunda the Awugidlingish community government in which has on Northwest Territory get Haton and the idea honey St. John Army honey Mercy Madam Speaker. Mercy.
Minister statements. Member statements. Member for Tabacha.
Masi, Madam Speaker, did think SC Assisane in Lesi Wogon Haisia, the Ponte Housing NWT Huti Nizia La Dale, Sing Onse Haisia, the Ponte Madam Speaker, John, let's say, Dise Catetso, don't see Gineke got so matadon. Consonke hotines in donuts a hot delegate goods go get de hote housing sonke honey de consonke honey de ajun nekelani good nekelani sits in de hote. Yani public house onke adlatlon zanthazon adlatlon sazon onke adlatlon hotson consonking alle hote sege leha hote in leha nu hagontele eki aye da gont esiota eye hani siota a konsin woho amiguyina desita de dinta se leha what's hoi lila ni go get de hote eye da adanyo ante honi. Madam Speaker, the Domon da seota John Domon da seota consiata gira ginitle honte gidi honte. Italy don se hela da dunya li seota argent policy hanine zingira dani denizan honte. Don git hunt azon honti gihela di ho honte. Eta yani kongina get desi gihuna ni de honte. Ayetali onkia kona geleha danitla na geleha windy lehote ayaha nis ata don't see ginitla na tlohote ayihe see Madam Speaker the don local housing authority ha nisi ta goshini de gi wonge di hote kwazo tsonke ayeta hageleha hag Hani gets on hindle what a local housing authority said I did don't the right quelle what a we're gonna need it there what a honey call a board members a local housing authority don't and June somebody gets on geek and I get in that Thai Sahan what's on can I get in what a ye say queenie lay a ye honey see what a local housing. You say I so don't say the yatinat a new and yati not a yes is a go queenie lene a year niece at a housing board housing NWT a hanita so Madam Speaker the high sia the home the honey let's and dear son is in lehotene honey called dear asiajan wogun and it's it daisy. Ajun teki guraya tines in the year and the tsin wonte. Ayet a lady hani set a consi Ajun te consid sagote in the tsin wonte. Ayet a Madam Speaker Massey. Getet so don Hayageti, Hay River South goes on Getet so don. And Madam Speaker, DRC hatlo desi da yuna nigi desi wuguna nigi det a gira gote honte Madam Speaker as indi wana di gotse hatlo desi da dun asi kontak e je hanira wata a honte don hlu ka de hanle da si kontak e je ani na wata somebody gets si honte ayeda di hanisi Adzanek, a good society, Duajo Hunti Madam Speaker, hani tamba se ella chokele ke jehi ke asike gelehi akon la wilad zani de asiazun what's wihi dia hote eyeta di doing set ajon yani hi lagit le hote eyeta di hota don le ada de hote eyisi don azunai de kwe Madam Speaker, akontamba ella chwala le ajade dagunde honi eyi satsum tili hani sika jehi gogawata ahunte eda eyi ani bar chani hitso asiazan ihunte eyi Great Slave Lake siota akon siota jon osisko hani medal sani satsun ka ahani kwe ka ahani gotson hote gonne kese inda tsunaije hunte hane konunu votani si adajon tamba ela chono tlosi what git aho ahote Mr. Speaker February inda ho sana kwaza so akitse kwela da hunte hane ko eyi eko gotson si ada eyi federal government si yatigo rage aha getse hunte Hay River Harbor si goga wata ahote tamba ko ella chohwala se edzanek e goga si wata ahote nemasi. Madam Speaker. Ketesodon ya get timo figos on ketesodon Madam Speaker Mazi did sink esi yesi Don Highway 3 na get desi gia kalkonsi wonte clean shongoet in siota kontana chala hwa na get de wonte on kas in nese don sun leheno get de le wonte zen de get siade ayet ali don monta se tam ay de chini kwa ya get la na get de wonte June 3rd get di hoke infrastructure what he transmission line phone again la wogon hayagi ti hote energy strategy get did a hane wogon nit le hoili hote tilib de ba duna de se da any de kagon clear kongitso da hone what he transmission line hagela hone ekota da would Kehoda, Department of Infrastructure, it's a clinton government lagi de hunte adile hunte adits oni a haset I won't go get the lay snare board a con what hits on hanigo acid I won't go get the le hunte a yesi at a better con again de ho a ya con clinton neck at a con snare hydro some buckets only a hind lessy betcha con set a con a tin leak a ha good neck and neat e hunt and it a lay a ye honey generators zunta gets a freezer honey here zunta get ya had the hunt a tin leak bass fiber optics honey greatly hunt yet ali country honey goods on Atlani denizats and what I send it ali won't I account and that's like one home what it must say. Great slave goods on get that so done. And must see Madam Speaker, the Indigenous Disability Month hunte 2012 2700 don't hatlon etzanik esiot 60% indigenous don't son clean yagi li hote esiot a will good disiajo hunti Legislative Assembly esiot the disiot asirana a freedom manual able a yajo 1990 Stephen Caffrey here Aladain Levy to Akon AEC spina deferat ayeli hote hanikone chala gotson setasia azon edet zain le hote e duin zi set ake hon ale Ida Sir John Franklin High School nit le kwaiti hote nit le kon not etla hon Steve Caffrey nit le kon linda hote vital se ta hotine zia lada hote Ida li atso nit le yati konsiat hote the deal with Isiat Asema Seguki Huinle Hote 2006 32 Lai Hote Yisi when Urayati Duelin Le Hote it's on the Kahani Dune disabilities kits only Desi Asi Gira Windy Le Hote Johnson by Kazola Nida disability goods on the goods are dear Hunte Yetali Dune Lanky Corin Hegi go to her. Ayet a di gohin se da asia zon ki ja hani ho ja da tu woni ke tsade ho ta hane ko do monta asita gi ho ane de se hane ke get de hadi un se ja ho na ke de hadi ayet a le de din se da khanta ke get de ha win dile ayet a housing NWT Eya jhuit e donne son bike e seta jahani se jhuit is segella ha ki wu ti wu hotane masse Madam Speaker. Y'all knife north goes like a test so done. Masse Madam Speaker. Government policy honey good so hote. Government seta Madam Speaker, Santa Juana, Hani Hagon, Telelani Hunte, di Madam Speaker, Sin Honey Committee, Honey were goody, Tseke, Hunte Monta, Seta, as it were goody, Hahudia, Legedi Hunte, Leia Nitle, we write down, never Hunte Haneko. Did sense on set a yemonta nitle what's a da lego get di hote a year nisi don't allow si nitle rada ni de nezia hote a question GNW 20-year capital needs a inda nano huha what's on si a yinat shahanigi wo hone nitle kwaho Hane kodin si da ina no hoots on si da yits in one se a jonte deket le honte hane kogot don si lai hola nihi e you go to azonit le geke honte yinit le si da a yits in one se sin lai hoots a sits in one de a jongora what don't ala si ra da ha denizia honte hane ko da what's on se da at da te hani se da nitle asi giuna hote hone di nitle in light ho you were good di siage were good diage hote de ketle hote you were good di da donegi girada ni denizia hote da new student module honey ja hunt sin committee se da at you were good di eke hote eke hago get dini de nezia hote ali minister finance se da we kya hote you were good di se asin don't ala si rada yele ha di le honi wo da eke de chogo na get so don Madam Speaker, deeds and on the hat on slits and the hunter John slits like yes in Lindsay John Hunty John a kid don't a gira hutines and gira hot once in wonder honey a yira jota que hunter go hin see at a John. Asi windy le sambana wo wungata de si windy ni le it's on dona gora like dead don't hunt nizigora lagi dead I give it a tonde Hesi Domon da Siata Kigira Guts Di Hani He Azon Hirunets at Honte Yesi Hani go Heguts Dille Hosani Lehonte Hani Kono Deni Denizi go he or da had di Lehonte Ayeta Aya Hajo Siata Guna Hirunets at Honte a housing minister see the DC a politics at a dona coyrai on honte a yesi conwant on see hata a yesi at Nekerahan housing a line down what I must say, Madam Speaker, not that's a high sea de ho. Ami se waraguts a di wo a yaili hutia dani de nehits ho honte. A you want our assets a kenile a key hotago henezi ho in wounds huntana massy. Ha get so dom massy. Tuna de willy de goes on get so dom. Ha massy, Madam Speaker. 266 cents on so I get that so lingots on.
And I do that in the call. That deal no get so what was on did and I did think is that on the deal that the assembly that the whole deal and you de how gonna force and I joined the blue tea that and I do that certain constituents that on the gets a deal on you and I did as you get how can a phone that on the and I did I see that the housing it's a dear need and I did that last it that can that what they get in land there and I did the Madam Speaker deal that 2.2 billion in that 3.5 billion one and I did honey that do more dozen that's some bagus goods ads out there some bar. And I do that limits on some bahola. And I do that on housing in that zone, and it's it that on ya finance minister, honey, first of all this. And I did, and I did, and I don't, and I did, Madam Speaker did, and I did that on ministers in that on and I did GWT department in 3 Yatıì I see on the and I did GWT and I did and I don't go out that on Madam Speaker Gushin Golas in that do that don't say they go out get that so do it in this as a dear with it and I did that and I did Madam Speaker and I did and I did that one who I you Hayatis won't die care down the must member statement member for the Nakput Masi Madam Speaker did think that Masi the Siana Honde has on two members go you get question that on did had not that Hekia lots at da and I did that you think that not at this is the Hutsi Anis in Hekia lots at da Asimo does Mukia lots at that in Wunso that Hekia say in the and I had the that on Mr. Bonner so that had this Nizian on the at the staff honey at the Gushin good last lots at da and I deal with that did at Asimo doesn't work what you like da and the houses since its own community, its own mayor and has a mercy guest, its own councillor honey, chair honey, hotel board of directors, he has on Sunday get this I get mercy get home the elder on the committee get honey. And I did think that on the recreation castle I get there and the recreation to this a year that mercy is a card how go do certain constituent Ita Honda Sunda Zon Setson CA Si da Sawa La Get Das and Mossy Gession. And I do that zone, do that says he what then Diana La Tassian de says a kid Jenny. And I do that zone, dear that sets a dita Honda Hodaho, go Hodaho, sets a dearly, Sella La Daho, then daddy. November 11th, the decent Zenit's a high town there, and the husband member Yachnis that. And I did have new that don't like a goosey get not a did think I got tell them. And I don't, and I do that I make like a go in lesson that I do that must see guessing and the phone there. It are on the Rangers getting listen my brothers and sisters in, and I did use must see get home there. And I do that I had so high seen that into the kids and I that's a lesson hasn't the mercy. Member statement, member for Camblick. Mercy, Madam Speaker. And I did what the public health education. The university with the nitla good the with the what but doesn't be and I did what the BBS and I thought that it really hasn't so the really now what asking on the and I did what that's on Canada Soccer Games that's on 30 year seeing what there and I did and I did and I did what the Katie said the Katie said the what that's on the and I did and I did and I did what the Katie said that I didn't Kate Eddie on there and I did what $300,000 every year on there GWT what I get this dog 100 Kate let me some bossing every on there and I did they had health benefits GWT and that's on this and I did what that's on Canadians okay I take it and I did what that's on Katie Nadina K the kid Nadia this and what's our dear and I did Motas and don't take it in I get there and I did what that's on what that's on like this and it's a hockey now no let me there and I did what that's on the and I did what I don't know what the good legacy that he don't know what doesn't have some body since in the level there and I did the healthcare system the decent one and it's a war there and I did what I don't what doesn't I did honey what I don't and I did what I don't do what I want to say so some bike get let's home na dia some bucket get dito home honey what the guy is gives the wood dancing and I did what I don't and that's don't have costing 77 billion what's okay we on there don't have honey don't get hoddy Motas is Madam Speaker and the Madam Speaker Achina go dinner home there member han nisin at sinaguhtit and you want sa hot delay sa get delay that and that at sinagundia san le mercy colleagues mercy Madam Speaker and that the policy change the and that and that the and that the and that mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, member statement, member for the Hindi. Mercy, Madam Speaker, did and I did what I don't COVID, did what I don't, and I did. And I did what I don't did the Huggies in the corner. And I did what I September did the September long weekend. Honey, see that's on September. Get the Oasis that's also the 2019 COVID pandemic. And I did the workshop. Honey, I get the anta di de anta di de anta di de anta di de anta de anta di festivals di hoda 95 to 100 di hanis nitle zenge to hatlo okwat is da de anta di de anta di de anta di de anta di de go hoda ton wo de hai si hode anta di de anta di de anta ton anta di de at the 20th anniversary in the Fort Simpson in that Okonta Tasiga that day in that zone get on the Madam Speaker the must be Madam Speaker must be member state member for Yellowknife South must be Madam Speaker do the MLA honey the at the younger generations in the and the social media honey the donation when the donation when the and the the and the at the at the at the at the donne the tiasin hani motas in the donne dani ayid at the hoda asi hani got a decent at the what done it the hoda hani khuzon the and the Madam Speaker, the hoda the did zeges in thought or not the hoda and the go hoda the hoda see a news is in that the what is in the lehonde and the Madam Speaker, and the motasin don motasin da got on hanesin da get in hanet and the and the and I see on the and the had it a question as in not let's eat not let's eat in here on the and the go out certain constituency that needs that the hotel give it so in here hotel that yes it doesn't high you the honey could and the hotel that is go show the most Madam Speaker. Must member state, member for Orange Lake. Must Madam Speaker, did that how that member state honey and the remembrance date that honey and the other one got a dinner daddy and daddy honey that's a code don't you at go in less you are there. Hazon that nezi gisho or hazon neke don't gisho or again there. And I did have near that don't go nigget out the same hani tage go to get there and get in get can get tage mo ami wona te tkonsa agi kwe honde anda di hani de anda di hoda dron ha no to dron agi kwe sin asin dron tage go to desin asin dron agi de asoni hagi wat honde tage go di hoda dron anda di hani sin da don son tage go de gi lesin honde anta di hoda won gi na tsai di sin ga da ga honde anta di hoda ton gi kyan da hoda ton tle ga go handa gi honde anta di hoda ton di hani sin da ton won na ti wule anta di hani sin da gi ko de ti de gun gi na tsa ton gi ko de ti de sin han le ata ga go so ge de anta di hani sin da go do go kon tsai ti de anta di hani se go so na tra le sin da di honde go do go te ke go ken go kya ta ko te ge go za de wu ji sin ho ta go she hu ji ho wa a ga ti ho te din ne ge se wa a ga ti ho te an ta di ho ta zon an ta di ze ge se na she wa tse kwe ho te an ta di ho ta zon an ta di ho ta zon an ta di ho ta go mo sin de gyu ne tse tron de an ta de Madam Speaker da hat tron.
Member statements. Members.
Get heads out, don't hayageti. Indi kawde da gets in cane lacy, goods on a go get there. Hat hong go guy, Ginzi, Hatsadi, Great Slave, goods on get heads out, don't massy Madam Speaker, John, don't Tom McLennan, Yellowknife City Council, John Gugaweda, a yits, Graspita, Kate Hartrack, Talitha Tate, Diane, and I want Ruth Caviar, Delaney, Joshenberg, it's on Twyla Echinelli. Masi Chokogakwe. Hompacha Sheila Sharp, Sundberg, Seata, Asi want a hahont ye no deni de wiki heatia hunde. Hatongo guy, Ginzi, Hatsatinu, Napogaton Catesodo, Madam Speaker, Masi CEO, Arctic Research Foundation, Adrian Kanowski, CA, Vince. Teddy si choko gawada ha tongo gai Ginzi hatsadi tune de willy de gotanketet so don Madam Speaker Masi John de kwese Masi de honte it's on gotsa ta tisi John ge kwesi Masi ge honte Dennis Draghi Tom Anka Mero Sundberg si Lina Dragis, a question what you wo ho John what dainle. It's on Jonas Lafferty, Sergeant Tatimasi gets idi. Hatoga guy, Ginzi, Hatsadi, Yellowknife North Kosokatet Sodon, Masi Madam Speaker, John Yellowknife Pages, William Cole and C. John Goga Gek, Granit like a gilehon Masi. You see, John don't wizzy when I heard dealer then the John is a good guy, Cressic, a Hamas in a head saying, well, Hatungo guy, Ginzi, has a G. I see wicked John at the Humba Chargos and get so don't. Madam Speaker, D. Humba Chargos on Sheila Sharp, wicked John Hearts in wound, and a ye order of St. John, I see wound on the Sheila, see what I see the gene let I don't high, such some bed chinlets on chat, Humba Chartin lead deck, and don't indi, what a ye say order of St. John, don't assat in the Hunsaiki. Don't essa desonra azonra donc indi hontana dale massichila Masi asiwik e jonata hi Kawud de dage ke he Riverside Gozangatetso don. Masi Madam Speaker, di Kontaka Deraka Wood de Elinsi Eyiko Fiddler Association de di Etlin Conseda Kongutson Seda Eyisi Eyichukura Seda Yahanira dun seta ranata hunte wonne kera Italy massiwe hunte a department se coal cook fiddle jamboree January ninde radzende tsasia hunte Italy inhle huts on seta ayirasi sunake dera sombagyon jahunte massi Hey Riverside Gozangatetso Masi Madam Chair Ayisi Etajon Edat Ayi Ascended Dins Edet Zahane Fiddle Jamboree Masi Ayisi TV Control Hani Stereo Hani Si Hani Tasuna Huasan Elemente YouTube hane kosin wetsa honte suna wole hosegedi honte hane ko fiddle sanizin honte masi Madam Speaker masi Minister Riverside Gozangatetso masi Madam Speaker masi tsin honte di ko krok asitlon yigalain da hontana dite edzanne kerani de chukurani hua get one fiddle hani da suna get deha hua twin chika hua twin le honte monta sieta workshop hani kontra edzanne kehiajon hani music festival si yigalain da honte Kontaka Derek Awode Masi Madam Speaker and DNC a question Crow Cook Fiddle Organization Gihe Lewis Beck a Municipal Community Affairs Hani Crow Cook Siota did Dihani Huti Donaga aligned that Ali Nizi when I would Diha Adla Hote it the dean said, a year honey run at Hunson or honey, do know who I 21 checko go at Zanek, a who are 21 a honey yera a yanni la a year line down there. A that do honey said I go here like they said I must see gets in one. No, that's on the in care, here Riverside Gozangatetso Masi Madam Speaker, Kroll Cook Association, Chakuzun Hua, Tony Lene, and the Quasitlon Gon Ladi Hunte, government said, Madam Speaker, Fiddle Association, Taiho Han Watson see. The dean said that Ajo Hunte Zanek is a Gora Lai Gora Dagette Hunte Masi Madam Speaker a year question da se Kyokoda e wogon good daily Hunte in the Huhan Watson Rasamba Eke Hunte Hanekoi program netlon going in what don't go it at a leha de Hunte Tai Hohan Watson Crow Cook in the Tai Hohan Watson sit as somebody that gets a dear Howard Sahadi Lehunte. A year as you went is set Lahawitz at Sa. Adlatlon Hots on see a set at a dear Howitz at Zahunte. A year honey said a year organization that goods a idea must see what's in Hote. Kawode dage ke mufi goza gete sodo. Masi Madam Speaker, October 25, 2022, the Diwitsa Minister, Deputy Minister, June di Huke Hani Hydro Project Hani Kalainda Hani Yugon going down the Clinton government Hani hit you go daha hadin le honte Aduna Highway 3 kena desi ka country hani gitsun ni tiatla hadile hone. Madam Speaker, di hote you will go see let's di hote Clinton government gi let's di di ye adani de work a hot hanisi wo good di hina tsia hote capital cost ye sia zo hote work at hote huti federal government so at in the ye hani asia zandai tini si wakat hote ye government sigi hialat da hote ema si Madam Speaker mufi gozangatet so don ema si October 31st ko Minister of Finance da week hote satson bechi hani 2024 satson bechi hani battery da etlani hi we battery agilla hanira charging station hollagedinet ali amise hani mechi dati bechakon Guhin diesel honey and honey that's it in what Madam Speaker, a dase kadi lela honey haisia Minister of Finance electrical vehicle honey see 2030 electrical strategy good so what the I don't alla see it at in hadi lehunte it done ami se Alberta on get daisy a con bechi charge a giladi lehunte ami se a chindai here June the dean what's on department see what he tinly kagun tlinit yat le ha din lesi ase yani kira da honi Madam Speaker I didn't need ya how that's a dine le what hits North Slave Hydro so that's a la how it's a east west side so the it that it's a lahi how we sense a level got what like on it move you go like a test so don't Minister si hadi infrastructure like our Clinton government here la daha hadi hunte he dani Clinton government here la dasi adani ayela hadi huni Minister Infrastructure Madam Speaker si da adla watson diani wonguts ade hunte Ajuti wongote de ho via hote mo that Clinton government segi let's din le honte hesi Dani Hosha has one good in the Hunte. Adi Clinton government cooperation agreement. She now what's it Hunte. It's Ami say hanin laga la hadi le honi did a honey GNWT Ladin lani atlaha din tsani aset atladin atlaha what's honte GNWT tsantlin chon seta ehlehya latsa honte make yeta wihe ho wunle honte masi Madam Speaker MSC
Member
Or question member for Sabacha. Masi Madam Speaker. And I do what that's on ancient Hanisen that's on the housing minister sets on Yankees the and I do what that's on the honey on the honey what she was here. Do the homeless again there. And I do what I did honey, dear what that's on honey key one a new wind. Do that's in one a new horse and son is in Leonde. And I did honey that's on the department house in this good there. And I did have niece don't ya can listen to don't get the I knew the homeless, so I see the mercy. Member for housing mother, and I do what I don't that in chair, do what I don't, and I do what I don't, do what I don't the and the Northwest Territory, and that don't yet down there. And I do what I don't policy review at a done a whole law at that. That's it, the housing NWT, the need the Congress there, there, and I did what other program, honey, the housing NWT in that, and that's on Northwest Territories, and I did local housing authorities as a deal, they don't go like it, this Mercy, Madam Speaker, Mercy Minister. Member for Tabacha. Madam Speaker did and I did what I don't and I did what I don't and isn't did that new one there. And I did the housing ministers and I did what I don't you don't get any shit that he homeless I need I feel on him. Must see Madam Speaker. Must see the minister responsible MT must miss and I do what I don't it lets it decide it lets it decide at it in the level that the whole and I do what I don't shall let it dot it in the you think it dark I don't get this and I did honey and I don't think that get shit I let it that around there. Mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, Minister. Member for Tabacha. Madam Speaker. And I deal with that Minister of Homeless, honey, on there. And I deal with that he had it's not okay to deal on the little honey. And I deal with that constituent, honey, and I do what I don't let that and I do what I don't let the town doesn't like who aligned down the governor of Northwest Territories and I did need and I do what I don't do that's the mercy Madam Speaker mercy member and I did and I do what I don't and I do what I don't the housing is in the and I do what I don't do shall let it and I do what I don't know what attack in the scene what I was at a dear what do what I don't and I do what I don't nurture territories in that doing who are gone ton de motta sin ton nage in motta di hoda ton di hoda application gin sidane ko git at in di hoda Mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, Minister, and final supplementary member for Tabacha. Madam Speaker, the Minister, the Hodazon Litton, the Odasin, Ekunle, Latako, Sunni, and the certain constituent, and the Hodazon, and the Hodazon market rental, and the public housing to Adzan is rightly with the Mercy, the member for housing anti. And I deal with housing NWT, and I deal with that policy, Hanis, and that now won't see Sladians, Idla, there, and I don't at the Diaz in wind, the scene that the and I did the youth Hanis and that on market housing. And I you that on provide wasn't that it did emergency lot, and I did and I did what I did and I did go Madam Speaker, and I did have new concern that's it there on the digger connected there, and I did what I don't did two connect care hot there on the, and I did have some bowl on the. And I do what I don't use and I do what I don't 4 units or la on the units there on there, and I did and I do what I don't Mercy, Madam Speaker. All questions, member for Great Slave, Mercy, Madam Speaker, and I check. And I did what I don't what I did on them. And I did what I don't Vital Manuel. And I did what I don't Mr. Manuel. And I did what I what I did on Yazakundle. Honey called you what I don't Minister of Housing that way killed each hide on there. And I do what I don't, and I do what I don't like you called apartment scene, apartment, ya whole lot in, as in boardwalk, in Hagidla, like you called apartment. And I do what I don't, and I do what I don't, and I do what I don't, that I see what I on that in killed, don't know what are when they see that don't, and I do what I don't, Mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, Minister, member for Great Slave, must do what I don't did there, and I was it on Yankee, a code is it on Yankee, did that time second to corn, not get there on there. And I did, and I did, and I did, and I did, do what I don't done, how there. And I did, and I thought, Zahani, Goodly Hanisi Yakon there. And I do what I don't do it, and I did Hani, Zahani, Goodly and Yakotlas, and I get us on the Mercy, Madam Speaker did. And I do what I don't, and I do what I am gushing gold la on the housing for said. And I do what I don't a year. And I do what I don't a year you and what this week I left down there. Member for Great Slave, Mercy, Madam Speaker. And I do what I don't the Nuvik shelter you done. Are you contractors in there? Mercy. Member or question? Member for Yellowknife North. Mercy, Madam Speaker, did and I did do that asset management plan, and I did and the and doesn't hot God they had listen in camera the what's what they get the and did go out that 20 year and did ask that some good good la and did and the public document Minister of Finance must see Minister of Finance must see Madam Speaker do that and do community a whole here I thought you know that in kid in there and did and do that I see has they got our last got our la honey what that here what that you know how you seen there the infrastructure that's you did the honey hunter and do that no hood or that and that the hadid the hunter won't hire cheese in the hunter and did and the and did and did Madam Speaker that the capital plan is in what down there must Madam Speaker must Minister member for Yellowknife North and that deal that the land use plan as he keep public only and that deal that the sin la who lease any whole line there any whole line this in the financial thinking and that deal that the and that yes you publish I listen you must Minister of Finance must Madam Speaker deal that the 5-year plan and is what's that you know didn't daddy and that the you that and the and that and that 5-year plan it what's at in the acids on the and the and the and the and the and the capital plan I see on the must Madam Speaker must Minister Yellowknife North 3NOV2022 Yatıì yes I did dude I see the one more than 5-year lease and this year got clean on the more than multi-year capital plan got clean on the and the and the deal that 1.4 billion gets a fair plan at the union and the deal that gets in who's on it and the deal that asking that asking things asking on time at last on it and the things that has worked at the zone and the deal that and the deal that the honey motor planning document and the deal that capital plan asking that get out of the chairs or left must Madam Speaker and the and the Minister of Infrastructure want the and the public dashboard there and the and must Madam Speaker must and no de Yatıì Yellowknife North must Madam Speaker the infrastructure that and the long-term care facility don't get what you call honey I see what they no there in this the good capital plan and the members that don't got in do that don't playground honey yakon things and the honey the and the and the Mercy, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So,
Sundberg awode the let's a kirala now we at a government in Li Hote a Dalina Hisiazon ayu can now with a Siazon Hut in it and hits at in Hote a unit less at somebody that not a lot of dahi Yajan Hut in the gate le Hote. Ada onkad yani nitle seki don't ala sigira danilene haniko yi dashboard ke lani what's at dani deki aki what's at da ra hunte ada yi hani seta quality yani hi wadat allaha hunine masi kawde dageke Cam Legut's on Gatet Sodon. I must see Madam Speaker. See he integrated services don't see 80 don't I would that way cat one. Integrated services on the Cassie I see Yajahuti Daniela Daisy GNWT integrated services. I don't know I get DC in the Hua goods on say Dania de Hesago Lahoni. Don't send yet, don't I would must say, Madam Speaker. A year needs yet the government's great honey, sits a lad, the winle, which a honey call COVID. He would say on say, Asiazo, Wokala, the hearts, and winle say had jale, what a honey co in Lagora, what are with another honey in the which you want a Cam Legos, I get that so don't. Must see, Madam Speaker, and the dean said I was since a equity what other honey which she had laddie the Nizia what a year that the minister said I said privacy laws honey see what a cane what a service delivery it's on case adani yika ladda honey government. Masi don't send yet don't I would masi Madam Speaker. Di kwa wala report holin le what integrated services. Eta di what show dona asi gira dale privacy it's a DC ya ni na was a git honte. Eta yina was in la okay la da honte. Cam Legos on get so don. Must see, Madam Speaker, the recommendation number 9, 2022, addiction prevention. Razon Banai Tako, East Standing Committee on Operation. You need in la coda. How health authorities yakin linsi tani dunesi dunna wo hani wo hoidira lani don't Allah hodaha gedile hote asin ministers integrated services rak awode linsi don hazon donna lai desi ho diani na wo ho get ha dile hone masi Madam Speaker masi and this yana hunt and a haneko isla wogalada hote that's a lassie isla dera wickets urgent le hote yajan government hani gets a hoy ling hote it's on the department see urgent hote don't like it egalats a daha what's a za Eta urgent hote don't get here so goes a la hadila hote hani what's a za hadile. No, that's the in care Cam Legos on get that so the Madam Speaker must say and the Aki woods it is on 11 and a hundred cojo assembly say gray Aki donuts at the hearts in 100 honeyco the ones in donate gira let's eat that's in 100 honeyco go neck he at Saki Ai seda dagoge ke hutine zigida sigin wuhunte a yiragit at a dear how what's a hunte housing NWT da integrated services da good kids a get dia gugin wuhunte na asi ministers say dear hanida the dear hanise integrated services the jeans that don't have nigira go shad leha de lehoni. Don't send yeti don't I would hang ye the case in the desert. What's on a go desert? I want a dear new program. Say that ECE ho a year's program. Say that dean what's at the how it's at Zahote. That dean say what. Yeah, let's a daha see what's a zami segura like they say a yard who gets us a did a honey who don't know honey son get done it don't a lots of done now what a who gets a time what's a zahutana must say. God, what did I get care? Mufi goes on get that so don't. He Korak I would awake. Madam Speaker, the federal government also Kurasia da donation things or somebody in hote. The housing NWT a donation thing like at the gain Linsigi Hutines like it there Hagogin Hote. The I donates a dear honey housing NWT donation thing need and other goods a get honey. Korak awode zanera, Madam Speaker Masayi da se kesi masi weho di hanin nizin huti nizin lehela zi da wata za eyi hesi wata ahode sin hola kontana chela na de gotson don at ehonte eyi zon ede hesi gotsin la na wusi zi honte eyi ali hani lehela zi dani de hi si wata ahonte de din wenne ke ho a working group honey sigi let's eat de honte con the housing plan honey sigi honte what he said they did a question the housing plan a question segin la honte a le con don't out in congi one sergeant hage di honte yini tlese a federal government say that a said that one neck a said that John a sergeant at Zanek, a seani nitla, good agin line, lehunte, a yet a lady honey, that don't is in hutines and gihalats a dozen kotaya galagis at Zahutanetali, her embassy, Madam Speaker. Mufia chinta in cam, her embassy. Asi dani etlehia lage da honi, asit athletes I get dear how you would lagi de honi, masi. Koaka would there. Masi, Madam Speaker, and etati se adaki hualani giratati la huani ko sagawata andanale unga day sing hote dirase wugala dana wahani wugata da hotene hajunti 42 ki years on a year junti hat honit lenegin la hotene wugala da hasidit na zaneke gora ayet ali what's a good get ha said that it zaneke kasi etle legidida hani na wusia jungwa a dago get di hote de di wenne ke se that clinton government sigihe ela tsada ha what's a zayita siya wani de go hele di hote net ali go hego get do de di wenne ke se that de dia yi ko hani na wusigi una ni de se ha go get di hote ne Madam Speaker Mufi go zage so don't chinda inka donation clean gun lani what show said that the what show con get the hagi want a rental honey don't satan take on a get this a yet a lady honey hit a donuts it's on the get donut they said that con green I get daggy want a consi see the on the chileni they say honey green I get daggy want a the lady don't something a lin said that somebody has that on gets a dear had the le honey satan take green I get the honey doing say somebody has a and government don't something governments like a lady le honey and say base funny UNDC hata 42 million gyun ja honte Italy London who what's on say some baggage at ya da honte the DC aye de contra ye la get da say hage di honte Italy the DC wouldn't neck honey the public housing unit honey the din wouldn't neck he go don't federal government si honey la tsada ha somebody on gets a care ha la tsada honda chong government sin is ngi la tsada hutin is ya lagi de honda so de ka ho lagi he mo yu se ka tsen una wa ne gi he tsin le honda yi gi ne ke se ta khon se ta gi una ni de da gi he sa go tsla ha wa tsa honda ma se mufi no de son ta in ke ha ne tsoli Asin housing NWT federal government actually de on samba go ga get la ha de le mote don son clean what should don e kon git so ha ni si wo go tsa dia de le hone ni don what kon git so ni Madam Speaker ma say de DC hota gin ne ke de hesa go gin la de ke nai tha hote e ta le ye ha ni federal government son ke go hesa go ge in se we ke shon le hote da ge de da ni le he na wo get se we ke shon ile ne ha ne ko ye azon edzan ne ke ha ni de e da le he le tsen dia ha di le hote e da yi hwala tson se da hwala tson se da gi he ki hatsa tiagi woni de asani le hote Hay River South go tson ke so don Madam Speaker Minister of Infrastructure kontaga de gin lin se yi wo ngai si Madam Speaker the government si hani se ajon huti yigi wo se we ke dra da hote Madam Speaker hani se ta ko ni chukua ni gira youth program go shin se gitsa tsadia tsin wo tene hani se da go ne ke hani go shin honi ni hani da don tsadia honi kontaka de ga ka wode Madam Speaker masi chuku hani se da gitsa hodi hani de se da si ho hono da na ke so go se da aki don sitsa e dile ho volunteer hani ala ta honte sports recreation son ke hani ke ala ta honte e da monta di zan ke se monta programs sin le se e di zan so hani go shin hote e da hani Chukwani se gi la tsada ha wa tsa cultural program hani koyi ayigwa DC department se we he ala ta ha di le hote eda India la watso hatin la ni le eda Dasi monta gora windi le se jongo yi wogongo get dese ta yi hani se wala tsada ha wetsa honte Hay River South gets like a so don Madam Speaker must see yi chukhu hani resiliency program hani se ga son bade ga ho go shin le honte e da de din se da wetso ye hanira somebody on somebody tanaya aha dile hone ye program ga masi Madam Speaker ye program si shakats adatse di honte shakanagin chalatso talisun na get dead on keha ye tso hwa gots on si hota indiko haisi le honte di hani department si gihelata dile montahi Indagoga seta hanihi gihe sasha dile hunte eta I kontasi hani hani siajon waka taha dile hunte masi
Member for Haverhill South. The NGO hanisi won is a lot of done is won goes a day on there. And Madam Speaker, the management that as a multi-year funding to the ones that has a high liaison. Mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, Member, Minister of Mecca. And that they have council and they see had a deal the Hanako. And the deal the NGO non-government organization honey and the long-term planning and the ENR honey the Allah get down there and the need the whole of government saying mercy, Madam Chair. Final supplementary member for Haverhill South. And they had Niasi and Utse who consent in the Zion. There's a car, Nissi who got a day, a cousin Gassi has in the Zin. And the dear Hotan I that a Disney Charlotte that there on there and the Sakani gets on got there in get some parents, they get hug money, you can listen, get on got there, see what there. And the Madam Speaker, and the department saying, Shalada. Mercy. Mercy, Member, Minister of Mecca. Mercy, Madam Speaker. And the 14,000 honey Saint and the working groups are called Girasi has a glare. See you out there. And the honey codes on the and the Macanis and the government, the deck of Wuhanis in the support you that gets at the deal, the mercy, Madam Chair. Mercy, Minister, all question. Tuniday, Holiday. Mercy, Madam Speaker. And I do the first nation to the JNWT, the and I need the and I do the territorial government saying that and I did and I did Madam Speaker, do the Hadidi, or then and I do what I thought do the now get seen the MLA honey the JNWT the and I do what I thought premier the way since I that Lacha Latada and I do what I thought Mercy Member, Honorable Premier, Mercy Madam Speaker, and the deal that on that deal that on that and the deal that on the and the deal that on the and the code the and the members that would the way on the deal that on I see as I said the only the gala that and the deal that on indigenous the cow de ons ontdekken oude giga laat het dozen zondagavond de devolution te die de en dat die de also in de indigenous governments in de en dat die de climate change en dat zo en dat die dat zo de en dat die de number one te die je dat zo en dat die de die modern treaties die zijn ze gaat het laat maar dat zijn de gese go gidla deze de gese go gidla honde en dat die de kleine laat duizend aan die had dat zo'n kleine laat het daar en dat kleine laat het daar het constant aan dat zo'n honde also die chinke dago I see the mercy Member for Trinidad Holiday. Mercy, Madam Speaker. And the whole hodazant, the herb Norwegian sing her Yankee hodazant, and the honey, and the hodazant, and the hodazant, the has Tasha Latin da this I see on there. Mercy, and I did what that's on the land claims on the left, the South government on the left there. The one that has so indigenous government, Gisha Lat, it doesn't on there. And I did. Okay, this is Hugesa, only Hugen, okay, Gisha Lat, it doesn't share lot that gets a great Gish and go to do Gish. Do the government had to lay hot down the Mossy. Trinidad Holiday. Mercy, Madam Speaker, and I did, and I did what I said, who's with Lord, I see Tadias at Lair. Do you do us as it had the other lair, Madam Speaker? And I did what I go she said, who's on we live the gog at head so hot letter. And I did what I had the other lair, policies and I yet now war law. And I did what I don't. The Canadians at lesson are deck our war, and now we're getting on a double on there. There you had Zoda. And I do that says it lehadi, they say it cleanly. And that doesn't say a lot, it doesn't other. And I do that's on the premise, I you that line, this is only. And I did 100% that's not say a lot, it doesn't, I want that I work on a phone. And I don't guess in that and it's in one level. And I do what I did, and I thought, and I don't want the decide donate premier decide as on home, as he said, learn the level. And I do what I don't see has on, do what I don't. Billions of dollars got so the same has a lag of some bossing got things in land the level. And I do what I don't walk, what I don't hot or take a lot, it doesn't, let's say, and I do what I don't, let's say, and I let's say, wasn't out there drawn. And I didn't take Hayatis and let's say, good see that let's say, that's Madam Circus season high, as is a hair on the level they must eat the file supplementary 20-day holiday, must eat the Madam Chair. And I did a who's we live the go get so hot how was. anta di hota zon anta land claim tsinda la kei sa de hisa go ge yonde anta di de anta di hota di anta di hota zon anta di hota zon a year hota zon medical travel at hey rivers or try listen what they get la honde a yani na wo sin gonna da wo on de anta di hani khe lat it that di hota zon policy la dia lezen da anta di hota zon go here da go don go get that so that sin te onde anta di hota zon na wo gonna da wo on la dia te lezen da han le da ya zo da anta di hota zon da nya te line this in this not lezen ni Must member honorable premier Must Madam Speaker anta di hota zon di 100% anta di hota zon di hota take awo anta di hota zon hazon anta di hota sin la no sa wo hota zon anta di dai sa hade twa sun ni na honde anta di hota government department hani anta di council anta di hazon asi what it doesn't azon ta honde anta di go hota da di ke zon na wo anta di ye hota gonna da wo one the policies on le hota some boss da sin hani honde anta di Madam Speaker anta di hota to embale to get question de anta di hota to hazon anta di hota to na hazon ne ga embale sin to go ye kwe honde anta di lete kunzun ta honde anta to haya ge chi da get embale go get de da hani hazon ge kwe honde get ko anta di hota to na da tse suzun ta honde must see the oral question member for the Nakput must see Madam Speaker and di hota sporting events are nation that the ball for Del Total and the Nakput and di minister di asin hase di asan le and di regional sports di hanesin ball for Delta anta di hota zon de oko won haya chile regional sports I sin de Minister of Mecca anta di hota zon member hani ta masi wisi hani ko zon yo asio hani yanchi sa ka ko ani sin go haya yanchi anta di hota zon rec anta di hani community hani anta di the regional events hani danyata le hani anta di organization sin the existing le honde anta di
the communities. So that's where that is right now. But I'm more than willing to talk to the member further on this. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Nunakput.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What's the process, Madam Speaker, that we could get these organization back up and running? Because I really feel that my students in the outlying communities of Sax Harbour, Paulatuk and Ulakuttuk are really shortchanged on being able to travel and do sports, especially when we have some really talented youth up there. So what's the process, and is the Minister willing to come on a tour with me to visit with our leadership and let them know the good news that there's funding available? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister Maka.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, so the process is very much community-driven. The community needs to reach out to the Department of Municipal and Community Affairs, the Sport and Recreation, and youth coordinators. They need to work out to them and start working on it, working together. The staff is available. I can tell you from my experience, in 1994, when I became the Recreation Development Officer, I started working on the Mackenzie Rec Association. And it is a very valid organization, and so is the BDSRA. It was a very valid organization. It addressed some of the things that the member talked about. It gave them the opportunity to provide regional and community events, training, and that. So that there is what I will do is I'll make sure that the regional staff from the Nuvik and Sawtoo reach out to the member and the communities and start working on that process. In regards to the tour, I'm more than willing to work with the member and we'll try to set up a time. We're realizing all our schedules are really busy right now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Nunavut.
Speaker, that was a long time ago. I was 21 years old. I just graduated from high school. I graduated at 17, but I was 21, still young. I think I had 1 or 2 children by then. So, Madam Speaker, you know, I realized the member from the HR in the South asked about increasing funding. And I thank him for that, for saying we're looking into this. But can the minister provide us with a list of programs when it was developed and how much was in that budget for that? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member. Minister of Maca.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm going to age Jackie a bit, or the member from the Nutcrack. I've actually known Jackie when he was in high school in the Nuvik, so we had that opportunity to meet him and his mother, and it was great, that opportunity. And by 1994, I had 7 children, so, you know, it's very active, you know, getting stuff done. So in regards to making that commitment, yes, I'll make that commitment to get that information. You know, making sure that I give them the data that, you know, what programs are out there, when they were developed, and how much is there, so we can get that information to the committee. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Final supplementary, Member for Nunavut.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. No, thank the minister for that. So he still never said yes for my tour with his staff, with MACA staff, going into the communities in regards to letting us, trying to work together for the youth of Sax Harbor, Ulakaktuk, and Paltuk for our tournaments, regional tournaments in the Beaufort Delta, where we bring all our youth together, where it used to be a lot of fun in those days, that we don't have that going on anymore. Our youth need that. So, Madam Speaker, would the minister commit to working with us to coming up north to Beaufort Delta to help me help him?
That move Beaufort Delta, the class and lack of some mercy, remember. And that deal that the Kellogg get that so we live on there. And that deal that on added and that deal that on what's on member was she other minister Gish at there on there. That member Nizia lot Dana listen to what she open a cloud on there. Mercy minister or question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I should not have used the word segue in my last time and tipped you off that I was changing topic. Can the Minister of Housing please provide us with an update on the Inuvik shelter and whether or not a contractor has been found? Thank you.
Thank you, Member. Minister of Housing, NT.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question, because this is such an important issue in the Beaufort Delta addressing homelessness. We did have some issues with the contractor and the delivery of the programming there as well too. We did have the request for proposal that did go out, and we did not receive a submission. And we had some nonprofit organizations that we were trying to work with. We soon identified that we need to further look at the training that we need to provide to the NGOs in the region and throughout the Northwest Territories as well, that we will be working with the NGOs addressing homelessness differently, because we do need to provide adequate training and look for further funding for these program initiatives. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Great Slave.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do understand the trouble of trying to get an NGO in a community to run something when there aren't really any NGOs in that community that would want to take that on. And as a result of that, and given the sensitive nature of this type of work, hiring minimum wage workers here and that are not going to be adequately trained, as the minister said, is not the solution. So can the minister speak to whether or not the department is considering running the shelter themselves and having workers there be GNWT employees? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister of NWT or Housing and NWT.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And this is something that we did try in the past as well, too, and bringing on the shelter and employing them as GNWT employees. It was for a temporary period of time to give us some time to be working with the community, with the Indigenous governments, and try to come up with a solution. And also addressing the urgency and in Inuvik as well, too. We have been working with the NGOs that were potentially running the program previously, but I will have to get back to the member as well to find what the current status is for Inuvik and looking at whether we're going to be keeping on the employees as GNWT employees. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Great Slave.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So from listening to that, then, it's my understanding that the GNWT is still running the shelter itself with GNWT employees, and that going forward, I'm just wondering, how do we afford that? We all know that the GNWT is the most lucrative employer in the North for the most part, and we know that when we want the NGOs to do it, we don't give them any money for it. So I'm curious to know how we're going to afford to run the shelter with GNWT employees over the winter time. Are you going to be coming back for more money from us? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister of Housing and WT.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question, because this is quite crucial in the Beaufort Delta, addressing homelessness, looking at the severe weather conditions as well too, and trying to keep those shelters open. The program right now is internally funded. We will have to come back. I would have to follow up with the member on looking at what are we going to be doing, forecasting into the future as well too. And one of the things I wanted to do is to encourage the NGOs at that time that we work with them to submit a co-investment application. But unfortunately, that NGO had fallen apart. But it doesn't stop us from trying to work with the community and trying to come up with solutions to addressing homelessness in the Beaufort Delta. Merci, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Final supplementary, member for Great Slave.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. And again, I guess I just really struggle with the idea that we have to rely on NGOs who are notoriously underfunded in order to take care of our most vulnerable people. I just really find that to be unacceptable. And I do hope that the department is looking and considering that they do need to continue on being the operator of the shelter. My question, though, is around, I know that when we were in Inuvik with social development, that there was a lot of conversation around even just proper food for people at the shelter. We brought in some fruit and things and gave it to them. So my question is, has the minister reached out to any national organizations such as the Red Cross to talk with them about perhaps, supplementing the shelter, either with workers or from a food security standpoint? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister of Housing and WT.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Housing NWT looks at the maintenance and the program delivery of homelessness, more looking at operating of the shelter and the building, but not necessarily the programming. But it could be something I'll bring this back to the department as well too, because I'm always looking for innovative and different approaches and ideas that we could be doing differently within the portfolio. I will have to get back to the member. Merci, Madam Speaker.
Merci, Minister. The oral question, the written question, member for Nanakput. Merci, Madam. Carbon tax, that's on Minister. And the carbon tax, I see that the small community, that's on and that they had nation that do the home heating bills that not insonance and do dishonest and that did not put writing. Number one is the minister had nation that and that did that trade insonance and that did what had the NWT communities. And I did the minister had the and I did and that each year to 2020 until 2030. And I did go out with that and I did the good service number 4 and the November 1st, 2022, and I did not put the and I did need the federal tax. The and I did the carbon tax. And I did I see on there. Must see, Madam Speaker. Must see. The written question. Return to written question. Replies to Commission. Petition. Table of documents. Minister of Justice. Madam, Bill 65. It's on Bill 68. Child Daycare Act. Northwestern Corners 2020 Annual Report. The table of documents. And I did that Mac Hago administratively must see Master Duhadazon and I just see Tass and Ladagin after play Bill 68 and I did the properties assessment and I did Bill 67 saying Fire Prevention Acts in there on the 9/1/2021 annual report. Must see, Madam Speaker. Table of documents, Minister of Housing NWT, and I deal with that must madam, and I deal with that documents in that Housing NWT 2021-2020 annual report. Is that must see table of document, Health and Social Service Act must see, Madam Speaker, deal with that the lot that can ask you that or question. 1210 bracket to 19 the addiction treatment table of documents member for Camp Lake and I did that yesterday November 6th and I did that document do that fertility matters lot that can table of document member for Young Life North, and I do that on document honey, do that health services, do that on there.
Thank you. Tabling of documents.
Table of document, member for Great Slave, and I do that on table document, and I did, and I do that on like you court, I see on there. Must see table of document section 4 and I do that on and I did the Legislative Assembly and I did and I do that on the May 26th table of documents notice of motion. Motions. Member for Cam Lake. Merci, interdire rotation special interdire rotation
time for reporting on matters of ongoing action, discussion, and consideration. And whereas members of the 20th Assembly may wish to consider how to build on the direction and deliberations of the 19th Legislative Assembly, now therefore I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Inuvik-Boot Lake, that pursuant to Rule 9.2(8), the Legislative Assembly hereby establish a special committee on the transition matters. And further, that the following members be named to the special committee: Mr. Kevin O'Reilly, Member for Frame Lake; Honourable R.J. Simpson, Member for Hay River North; Mr. Rocky Simpson, Member for Hay River South; Ms. Lisa Semler, Member for Inuvik Twin Lakes; Ms. Jane Way-Allen Armstrong, Member for Montfouille; and the Honourable Shane Thompson, Member for Nahende. And furthermore, that the Special Committee on Transition Matters be established by the terms of reference identified as Table Document 765-19(2). Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion is carried. Or I should say abstentions. Motion is carried. Member for Tabacha.
For Tabacha. Interdire rotation Hay River North End la interdire rotation Thursday, November 23. Thursday, February until Tuesday, February 7, 23. Interdire rotation 2023. Mr. Speaker, the Executive Council, that's in the late year, the Sonic Quagendi, Hogo, Nakon, interdire the Utgo had there and the scene had there on the interdire rotation the honey the Utgo late year and the scene had there on the.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion is carried. Member for Tabacha.
Amendments to the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act. Whereas this Legislative Assembly appointed Electoral Boundaries Commission pursuant to Section 2(1)(b) of the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act on June 3, 2021, and whereas the Electoral Boundaries Commission 2021 submitted its final report to the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly on May 24, 2022, and whereas the Speaker tabled the final report of the Electoral Boundaries Commission 2021 on May 27, 2022, and whereas this House rejected the electoral boundaries recommended by the Electoral Boundaries Commission 2021 on October 18, 2022, and whereas there is a desire to review the names of certain electoral districts in the Northwest Territories, now therefore I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Hay River North, that the Legislative Assembly recommends that amendments to the Electoral Boundaries Commission Act be introduced during the life of this Assembly to A. Allow for the establishment of the Electoral Boundaries Commission within 18 months after the day fixed for the return of the writs for the 2023 election and subsequently for each succeeding general election, and B. Increase the composition of future Electoral Boundaries Commissions from a chairperson, 2 other members, to a chairperson and 4 other members.
Thank you. Motion is in order. To the motion. Question. Member for Yellowknife North.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I would just like to rise in support of this motion. Absent legislation being passed in the remaining time of this Assembly, it looks like we're heading into an election with the same boundaries, which I think we all know have some discrepancies in population. And I don't think it's right for us to wait another 8 years to then adjust those again. So by moving this up in Assembly, adding some more members and some better representation, hopefully the next Assembly can have a report and pass one of the recommendations in there. I also, originally when this electoral boundaries came out, there was some questions prescribed to it, such as election of the Premier, makeup of cabinet, how we select cabinet. And I think a number of kind of questions of consensus government that it was this Assembly's hope to tackle. And certainly if you add or remove members, those questions, they come into play because it changes the balance on either side of the House. So it's my hope that by striking a more representative Electoral Boundaries Commission earlier, they can look at the boundaries, they can look at the issues of name changes that are coming up presently in the House, and they can look at some of these other issues of consensus government that I think it was our hope to get to, but are long overdue and have perhaps caused some frustration amongst members. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion is carried. Member for Satu. Member for Satu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Whereas the Order of the Northwest Territories was established in 2013 by the Territorial Honours Act recognizes individuals who have served with the greatest distinction and excellence in the field, enduring endeavors belifting the people of the Northwest Territories. And whereas Section 2(1) of the Territorial's Emblem and Honours Act provides for the creation of the Northwest Territories Honours Advisory Council to review nominations and recommendation appointments to the Order of the Northwest Territories, and whereas Section 21(2)(b) of the Territorial Emblem and Honours Act provides that the Council be composed of not more than 5 members of the public appointment by the Legislative Assembly on the recommendations of the Board of Management. And whereas Section 22(2) of the Territorial Emblems and Honours Act provides that the member of the panel hold office at pleasure for a term not exceeding 3 years. And whereas the appointment of the members of Honours Advisory expires on June 1st, 2021. And whereas the Board of Management is tasking with recommended individuals to the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Assembly to prepare to make a recommendation to the Commissioner. Now, therefore, I move, second by the Honourable Member of Hay River North, that the following persons be recommended to the Commissioner of the Northwest Territories for reappointment to the NWT Honours Advisory Council. Ms. Sabrina Broadhead of Hay River, Mr. Danny Gaudette of Delaney, and Ms. Ann Peters of Yellowknife, and further, that the effective date of these appointments shall be communicated to the Commissioner by the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. Merci, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion is carried. Motions. Notice of motion for the first reading of bills. Notice of motion for the first reading of bills. First reading of bills. Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, I wish to present to the House that Bill 71, Appropriations Act, Infrastructure Expenditures 2023-2024 be read for the first time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Pursuant to Rule 8.2(3), Bill 71, Appropriation Act, Infrastructure Expenditures 2023-2024 is deemed read a first time and now is ready for second reading. First reading of bills. First reading of bills. Second reading of bills. Minister of Justice.
Madam Speaker, I move, seconded by the Honourable Member for Yellowknife Centre, that Bill 65, Builders Lien Act, be read for the second time. This bill repeals the Mechanics Lien Act. It replaces it with a new act that sets out modern law regarding builders' liens, an area of construction law. Specifically, this new act sets out the following: trust provisions and the duties of owners, contractors, and subcontractors and vendors as trustees of revenue received, details respecting how liens are created and calculated and how they can be applied as interest against land, holdbacks and finishing holdbacks to ensure that contractors and subcontractors are not left out of pocket, and the consequences of non-payment of holdbacks, expiry, preservation and perfection of liens, rights to information about contracts, subcontracts, trust funds, substantial performance and accounts, examination and liability for not providing that information, including for costs, discharge of a preserved or perfected lien, jurisdiction by the Supreme Court, appointment of trustees and their powers, priorities of liens over other interests and agreements, surety bonds, their use, and the rights of action that they impart, miscellaneous provisions including acting in bad faith, abuse of process, service, how rules of the Supreme Court are applied, regulation-making authority, and transitional provisions. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the principle of the bill. Member for Yellowknife North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In my previous life, I've had the experience of dealing with our Mechanics Lien Act, and I just want to commend the Minister on getting this done. It was a severely outdated piece of legislation, and I'm quite excited to get this done and review it in committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. To the principle of the bill. Question has been called. All those in favor?
That's how we get that ditchy diaz in a home. I mean, Lenny, I mean, said dinner what Lenny motion done not doing the Bill 65 without the stomach. Second reading of Bill Macagoa Minister. Madam Speaker, deal without honorable Yellowknife South, deal with those 66. And they had need the tax and a kid okay yet here. And the taxation action on the and on the
Provisions respecting municipal boards of provisions or revisions, territorial boards of revisions, and the assessment appeals tribunal to extend terms of appointment, to adjust decision-making timelines, to allow the sole adjudication in certain circumstances, and change the title of secretary to register. They'll also give municipal employees the ability to purchase property at the public auctions with the approval of municipal council. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the principle of the bill. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion is carried. Bill 66 has had second reading and is referred to Standing Committee for further consideration. Second reading of bills. Minister of Municipal and Community Affairs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move, second by the Honourable Member for the Yellowknife South, that Bill 67, an act to amend the Fire Prevention Act, be read for the second time. The bill amends the Fire Prevention Act to add to a liability exclusion provision for fire officials, authorize the fire marshals to
the fire marshal had needs in a and the fire marshal had needs the order and the rules had needs in ya whole on the now and the mercy, Madam Speaker. Motion is in order. The principle of the bill. That I care. The has enough. Lenny won. Said then a motion done at tuned. Bill 67, and I do what that's on the second reading of bills. The Minister of Education did do what that's on the Young South Bill 68, Child Daycare Act, and the child honey saka honey there and the child care honey the quagit in the honey honte and the and the and the Mercy, Madam Speaker. Mercy, under the motion that the go to the principle of the bills. And I do that as on enough one. Lenny one. I'm sitting now, horse one. Motion that not doing it. Bill 68, what I did, the 68, what I do, second reading of bills, Minister of Finance. And I do what that's on do the bootleg sick, do Bill 71, the Bill 71 appropriate 2023. And I do what that's on Bill on the Northwest Territories, the infrastructure expenditure 23-24, Mercy, Madam Speaker. The motion is in order to the principle of the bill. And I do what that's on all those in favor. All those opposed. Mr. Dinner, what anyone? Motion done. Bill 71 deal with the second reading. Second reading of bills. And I deal with that on committee as a whole and other matters. Bill 23 till 29. There's 19 bracket 2. Table bracket 2. Table document 694-19 bracket 2. Member for Tłı chȯ Yatıì.
Just go to that, right? I now call
The committee as a whole to order. The committee is the member for Great Slave. And I do what I don't, how could Mr. Chair, and I do what I don't,
there's a motion on the floor.
Motion that as enough one. And I did,
May I have the
And I report honey community member for Decho. Madam Speaker, deal with that Bill 23, Bill 29, and MS 264-19 bracket 2, table document 681-19 bracket 2, TD 694 bracket 2, and I deal with the Howard at it. And I deal with that how they deal with the Howard at it, they must. I'm you can't remember young life no as I'm anymore. I'm all those support motions carried.
Thank you.
Third reading of bills. Minister of Finance. And I deal with that Inuvik bootleg deal with the bill 71. And I did 2023-2024 deal with that. And I deal with that recorded votes. That's kind of when they did the motion that member for Yellowknife North. And I deal with that capital budget honey.
That would require my vote, and they were the same requests I've made for repeated years. They're largely ones of information, Madam Speaker. I do appreciate the minister's new approach to passing more realistic capital budgets. I was informed today we may or may not have an asset management plan. It's certainly something I've never seen, but I'd like to go through what I would expect to be in a capital budget, and it would largely be an asset management plan. The first question would be, what do you own? There is no public listing of what GNWT current assets we own. The second question required in an asset management plan is, what is it worth? The tangible capital assets in the public accounts put it at about $3.6 billion, but we know many of our assets have amortized to zero net book value. I think if you took the modern replacement value of all of our assets, we're in $20 billion territory. We know that with the Power Corp does have an asset management plan, and it is a very, very terrifying number, the cost that they need to replace their assets. But that's not public information for the GNWT. What is the condition of our assets? I know the department does, both on our vertical and our horizontal inspections, but we also know that our deferred maintenance backlog is in the tens of millions of dollars and behind, and I think it's generally fair to say that the condition of all of our infrastructure is in poor shape. What needs to be done? This is the next question in the asset management plan, and this is a bit of a prioritizing. What is the immediate things? What are things not in compliance with building codes? That's not public information. What do you need to do it? This is a question not just about money, it's about, do we have the specialties? Do we have the staff? And we know we've kind of landed on this $250 million a year figure, that's about the capacity of this territory to deliver capital. And so it should inform all of our next 20, 30 years of planning. I don't think the labor shortage for skilled trades is going to get any better anytime soon, so that has to figure into our decision making. How much will it actually cost? This is both an operations and maintenance, a deferred maintenance, and a replacement cost question. And lastly, how will you pay for it? All of this information should be contained in any asset management plan. These are the questions we require all of our municipalities to answer before they are provided with money. It is not something the GNWT states publicly. And I think, recently I heard a Power Corp official describe the increasing rate increases a risk of a death spiral. And what happens is if those rates go much higher, they're going to lose customers, and then they're not going to have the money to replace their very aging hydro infrastructure, let alone the hundreds of kilometers of transmission lines and new infrastructure they are planning to build. We've heard repeatedly in this House the state of our Housing Corp infrastructure. They know that their capital is way behind, definitely in need of maintenance. If we are ever going to actually address the housing crisis, we know it's at least $1 billion, I have heard the president of the Housing Corp say. MTS repeatedly states that their entire fleet is aging out. It is in need of replacement. I'll note during this process, the Power Corp, we get zero information of that. It's not included in our capital budgeting process. I get that, but I think it would be helpful to include the Power Corp as an information item, just as we do Housing Corp, similar for MTS. There's no public reporting on the states of our roads and bridges. I know we do inspections of them. I know we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to both replace current bridges that are well outdated and to build some very, very significant new bridges. All of this information, I think, exists in different places in the GNWT, but it's not coherently presented. All we get is this one-time snapshot that doesn't even show me what has actually been spent. It doesn't show me what's being spent in future years. I know there's this debate about whether I can get the information publicly about what a project is projected to cost before tendering, but nowhere do we actually publish what the final cost of any projects were. That's information I have to repeatedly ask for on the floor of this House. Nowhere do we find out whether those projects are actually on time and on budget. We've seen with the Fort Good Hope Seniors Complex as an example that it fell off the budget years ago, but is in no way complete, no way on time, and no way on budget. I think some sort of regular reporting of whether we are actually delivering this $250 million we are about to pass is actually going to get built and what's going to occur with it. We know there have been years and years of delays, and there's a variety of reasons for what those delays are, but I think that all needs to be publicly recorded, and it needs to be included when the Cabinet comes forward and asks for hundreds of millions of dollars in new spending. Those questions need to be answered, and they need to be answered publicly. For that reason and those reasons, I won't be asked in favor of this capital budget. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. To the motion.
Motion open. Tunade Willade. Must see, Madam Speaker, must see. The Northwest Territories need $60 million, $2 million. Na kehut in the goods are there out in there. And I did the 10 point, and I did some boss in that on. Madam Chair did, and I did budget $135 million gets a fuel on public housing in the community. And I did what I did the housing corporation. They are nissen that said constant in constantly. I have some bowie now connectedly. Housing crisis nello. And I did what I don't do the community don't long conda don't wagot a deal on the deal hooks and that don't do what I don't. And I did and I hook the tile no let me on somebody sign this in deal the indigenous got there. I mean that are working please he gets out sign this in this yeah the and I did that with the motions that I did member for Great Slave Massey Marisburg did. And I did what I don't do, I don't, someone don't get question, I get teasing, so I get deal the deal that don't budget, some ball last in what does in the and I did what I don't did that. I did that some holes on the I did the go as in that and I do the JWT and I don't tune the woolly day I hate and I did and I do what I don't indigenous government somebody don't any there are get leasing some buckets or that I get less and I get Nizal that do. Did that hold on the deck I was in classy. There's some bucket our last and I get little and Lemasi, Madam Speaker. To the motion and I did what I don't and I did what I did. I made he can once in the member for Yalness, member for Satu, member for Range Lake, Nuvik Wood Lake, Yalness Center, Hay River North, member for Decho, Hay River South, member for Camberlake, Nanakput, member for Moshi, member for Great Slave, Nahendera. I'm said then I was and once in the girls Member for Yellowknife North. I'm said then I will hold the Tuna day, will a day. And I did 13 get the thing, lady, it's on. I'm said then I would then say, what they don't say, what then. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. And I did, what I tonight on laptop, honey, and that's on, I see Mr. And I do what that's on Margaret Tom, do what that's on go yat on the good day at there on the Margaret Tom, Commissioner of Northwest Territories.
Mercy, please.
Mercy hasn't that way.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker, Premier Cochrane, ministers, members, legislative staff, Itla Honda Sinzo Dungui Question Washe. And I do what that's on my seas, and that's on I'm here. Thank you. It is always a great feeling, and it's an honor to be here for all of you. And I do what I need to what that's on the das, and I don't have the shots at the what that's on. And I do what I like the what also I like the on the nice do you check it that don't that there is what I like the on the. And I do what I not let's see Tana out in the do what I did jackets in zone. Do that what he did drag is that get on territory it's a good. That somebody in Guinea, do that walk what had da, and I do what I don't that. And I do what I don't must sit in what that needs at that, and a lot at that, near what I don't. And I did need do what I don't army hot trailing, so I don't need clouds at do that. And I did what I don't know, walk. I did need and I see what I don't, and I do what I don't that did that, and I did that. And I did honey on don't gain less, and I you are what I don't. that asina tse di zenga gonte hondon tlega gon yi zenga gonte honte November 11 ke amme se de konton ho tlada ata go negas ta tlega gon ata di go sheka tiwa ata don da gini na so ata na get so hani honda don mo da de kona hoga dine le ani de etlege gon ni zon da gi le honde and that the commissioner at a honden the remembers day and that the hoda he rook with da honde and that the and that the hoda don't go negas in the gagonde na giti tra and that the hoda and that the honey the Canada Post October 17 Eki year hoda that Sergeant Thomas Tom George Prince Korean War uniform aiki honde anta di hota zon de anta di hota zon tleke go shai ki honde anta di hota mission abi sinta zon honde anta World War II go shai ki honde and di Korean War 1977 we led that line we led honde November 8 hani sinta zon Drone ya gin da gid gira ginat dia honde anta di hota zon di hani zona done ko ya holla ke di Lake View Cemetery zon sumba ke e ko te di ginat di sin honde anta di hota zon da te di so da na sin te honde ha zon what hat ha zon ne zin hot cha da na hinna ego zon ha ni sin ki te hin ke ho a anta di ha ni sin ke ho a da ni ho da zon ke a ke ni zon anta di ho da zon hai ke tai zin la ni de sin si wa na she tin ne zon family zon na she ke gi ke ho da na da e te di ho da zon ha zon ke a zon zon go a ke sin da zon don wa la te ke la ta anta di ho da zon ke she it's a fin ke la te da anta di ho da zon chen ke da don ya ho la sin wa te da anta di ho da zon anta di mi gyo na khon sin da ge zon sin da nai khona den de si wa da zon da commissioner at a sin da zon anta di ho da zon following bill 48 Arbitration Act, Bill 52 Elevators and Lift Act, Bill 53 and di hota zon di hani Liquor Act with the Tadia Bill 58, an act to amend the Legislative Assembly Council Executive Council Act Number 2. Bill 59, Act to amend the Election and Plebiscite Act. Bill 69, the Supplementary Appropriation Act and the bracket Infrastructure Expenditure Number 2, 2022, it was on 2023. And the Bill 70, Supplementary Appropriation Act, bracket Expenditure Number 2, 2022, 2023. And Bill 71, who deals in the Appropriation Act and bracket Infrastructure Expenditure 2023-2024. Must show that dihota and that dihota to has get latin has wahota must
may be seated. Members, on behalf of the House,
The members on behalf of the House, that the deal with the Commissioner and the Margaret M. Towns, that's one dozen, that's what dozen is in there. And the deal with the Saka, Niguasi, Hagi, Sakago, Shagit, in Nizin there. And the deal with that Nitleshia, that doesn't work out soon, the same that did. And that did. And that deal with that on deal now was at sea, did that deal go out that on the Danizia lot doesn't, I must see on there. And that deal with that on our pages, a class that on, and that deal with the youth parliament program, Hanis and Saka grade 9, 10, deal that think it done it, the Northwest Territory, not like Quaggetins in zone, Hani with that on there. And that did the go out that's on the let's deal with that on and that deal with that on any apply a shares and live on the eat out on the taking listen or must see on that some that parties and that on go she gig out question that must see on the and that deal with that on deal with that cloud at this in the and that deal with that on the go Yatıì with that on the that's it instant that on that ticket on the let's the at you want the and that you go walk with that on Sergeant at Arms Brian Taggart the year that on and that you go on staff honey the honey in the gun and it's the that on you that on no days go here what down the and that you retired there on the and that you that on you the Mr. Taggart you that the Hotline down there, Mr. Tag, do what I don't town down a kill that town down a kill the governor of Northwest Church, when I get in Hosen, they do what I don't Sergeant Arms in there, and the longest term, the Sergeant Arms in Canada. And I deal with that on lamplight, and this one is okay, Sadoko. And I deal with that on, deal with that on, deal with that did, and I did, as the sergeant at arms, deal with that on, is in Gosha line down there. There's a car since that's on Gosha, that's on let us say, and I did, and I deal with that on, and I did, and I did CRTC Hersey that's on and I did and I do that that's Sergeant at Arms Mr. Taggart honey that's on the security operation honey the assembly honey and that's on do that's on that non who okay on there and I do that's on don't walk on the goods in on there. And that Mr. Tiger, they deal with that aid, and that is security with that and that did, and that's on and that did, and that's on and that did. Don Brian had niece and that's on the Huago landed. And I deal with that on the dancing had deal on the and I deal with that on the formulated verse and I deal with that and I deal with that on institution and you not care processor wash it and that is and I deal with that on Zentante Nizin the link that Nizin Nesha Hoa. Member Yatkins and I doesn't have the few dates and guess in November 11, you remember today on there. And I did what I told Nashia Ho Adihani, Amigo Ashigagho, or the deal what I told me Shigagho, listen, get not a D. Get not a D, Zenke, this in Hante. And I did a call, Donny go Ashigagho, so what I did, Zenke, so she got you on there. And I did that. anta di hota zon go anta di te go asin te agat ni hote anta di hota zon di veteran since ne masi gets a deal the one don ya kin len listen anta di hota zon di hota di da ho go na hon wo in de sin ko da na khetse dia de ha go zen tante go la son anta di hota zon te anta di hota go it sin gya la te da hota tla na thousand with le de holiday since or how we say on the anta di hota zon de di hota zon da how we on the holiday ga anta di ha ni sin da ne tin gi he zen de ho atsin anta di hota zon sin da go it sin get dancing ha ne le on the anta di ha ni so ne tse thon tse tsa tse di anta sin mo si tse wu sin on the anta di hota zon mo ta sin kya ko ho di le anta di hota zon a tsa di anta don son sin da zon na hiu na hin ne get di na hiu ne get thon sin on the anta di hota zon don mo ta zo he za go on wo he ke ho di de ho on de sin anta di ha ni sin gi ka tha gi ko tha ha ni hota zon ha ne ko di na tse de sin ta ta ne chen a ta tse di ho de anta di hota zon anta di hota holiday to how we hota zon masi anta di hota zon and that junk to Frankie Smith last day of a house. And the February di isn't that on what done le. And I did and I did what that's on and I did what that's on and I did orders of the day, Madam Clerk.
Aids on special committees on amigo di wets on indi kaode da wets ike in legots on nagode asi wekets on at ehi kaode da gets eke nintleta da ets eke indi nintleta da ets ike in legots on nagode Commissioner Yatıì e hayat eti going zi asi eke Donne alla nitle giradara negale. Nawo wek edzon ra Yatıì nita. Aquentlon nawo nitle wek edzon ra hatsedi. Nawo hofle. Aquentlon nawo nitle wek Yatıì. Nake ton nawo nitle wek Yatıì. Bill 64. Nawo alla weron flegeti ra ho'on. Bill 23, Bill 29, Minister Statement 264, 19.2, Table Document 681-19, brackets 2, Table Document 694-19, brackets 2, Edani Flegadi Veron Hagedi, Taitson, Nawo Nitle Wek Eati, Indanze Edani Flegadi Ha Wek Eati.
This House stands adjourned until Tuesday, February 7, 2023 at 1:30 p.m.
February 27, 1:30, that's it.